Hey guys, Chef Mark here. Today I'm going to make for you a dish that I really love. It's going to be a clams with Barilotti pasta. One pot dish. We're going to cook the pasta right inside the clam juice that we're going to get from these. I'm going to start with these little neck clams here. We've actually partnered with a family-run business out in Lower Chesapeake Bay where we can track these guys from the smallest amount up till harvest so we can make sure that these are the best quality. When I make this clam dish, I actually need to make a flavorful broth to cook the clams and the pasta in, so our garlic cheese finishing butter is going to be perfect. It's got some Pecorino Romano cheese in there, obviously the garlic, and it's got a little bit of crushed red pepper. It's going to be a perfect complement to our clams. All right, the last thing I need to do is get my pasta for this. I'm going to turn to one of our artisan pastas here. You're going to notice that these have a little bit rougher cut on it. It's designed that way to hold the sauce a little bit better. I'm going to use our Barilotti here, sort of a barrel-shaped pasta. All these imported straight from Italy. I've got my clams on my pasta. Let's go cook this thing. All right, guys, it's time to make these clams. So the first thing I want to make sure that you do is get to the house, get them in some water here. I want to make sure that you rinse these guys off. Fill a bowl with water, put your clams on the inside, get your hands on them, move them around a little bit. What you're trying to do is create a little bit of friction, get that sand that's on the outside clinging to them off. The other thing I want to make sure that you do is make sure that every single one of these is closed. You know, like this guy. This happens to have a little crack in there. I'm fine with that as long as the door is closed. But if I get one of these that happens to be slightly open, those are the ones that aren't good to eat. So you come by here, maybe knock on them a little bit. If they start to close, we're golden. So last little rinse here. And since it happens to be such a beautiful day outside, I'm going to go cook these out on a side burner on my grill. All right, so we're outside. Again, like I said, beautiful day. I've got 2.5 cups of water here boiling. To that, I'm actually going to add half of this container of our garlic cheese butter. This is going to be a flavorful liquid that we're going to cook our pasta in after we do our clams. So put the garlic cheese butter in there. Then I do all of my clams all at once. I'm going to dump those guys in. Put the lid on it. And it's just as easy as that. We're going to sit here and wait for about maybe 8 minutes or so. You might want to get in there maybe halfway through and kind of jiggle it up there, move the clams around and help them to open up. But we're going to wait about 8 minutes and those clams should all be open. Okay, guys, it's been about 8 minutes. My clams should be about ready, but let's check on those guys. So I'm going to pull my lid off, turn it over to the side here, and get in here. All of my clams are open. I'm going to make sure that each one is. If they're not, you want to discard them, but I definitely want to get these guys out now because they're all open, fully cooked. They look beautiful. All right, so I have the last of my clams coming out of here. What I want to make sure that you do is leave this water boiling because then I'm going to take a quarter package, about 2 cups of that Barilotti pasta and add that directly to our water there, which already has some flavor in it from the broth of our clams and that garlic cheese butter. It's going to add a ton of flavor to the pasta. It's actually going to soak up inside that as well. So that's going to go maybe 7 minutes or so, cook it al dente, however you like, and then we're going to put the rest of the thing together. What I like to do here is take my clams as we wait, give them just a little bit of a cover of aluminum foil just to keep them nice and warm as we put the rest of it together. And then I'm going to chop up my parsley because I have to add it in afterwards. So I take my parsley, small bunch, and actually roll this together and bunch it nice and tight so that when I make a nice thin slice of this, I only have to go through once with the blade of my knife and it keeps that nice fresh green flavor of our parsley in there. All right, so we'll give this a wait and then we'll finish that up in a minute. All right, so it's been about 7 minutes. My pasta is about done. Let's finish this guy off. So I have that beautiful broth on the inside. I'm going to take the last half of my garlic cheese butter and we're going to stir that right in there. That's going to flavor the last bit of broth. And we're going to serve that right over our clams. And I even have some of that parsley. Goes right on the top, nice and fresh. And just melt that through. That's all we need. This is going to serve 4. I'm going to do 1 portion here. So some of that pasta down there. Nice beautiful broth. And our clams, which are stayed nice and warm here. I'll serve that on the side. Give everybody a little bit. I think there's about a dozen clams per person. And then, last thing I need to do is make sure, just to warm those clams up the last little bit, let's take some of that broth and pour it directly over the top of our clams. It'll warm those guys right up. Man, this is just about the best one pot meal you ever make outside even.